This is a heads up for people who pay attention to a man called Jordan Peterson, or don't pay attention. It's part of something, in my opinion, that is happening. When I say the world is not what it appears to be, in this case, I'd like to say that the world is exactly as it appears to be, and I wish this man no harm or anything. He's been through, apparently, he's pulled on people's heartstrings about his condition. His health had severely deteriorated, and he's lucky to be alive. This is the impression that he gives. Maybe true, I don't know. But what is interesting to me, as much as I have compassion for people, that this man represents to me a very negative reality. And I'm just going to now, I'm not going to get too specific. I like some of the things he says, but the overall, the thing that really impresses me in this particular case, I want to just mention the optics here. Now, if you see a person, I feel severity, a kind of harshness. And you could say, yes, he's been through difficult times, but like I say, the attempt to pull at my heartstrings is actually undermined by what it is that I feel is being communicated. And when I say this is someone, a countryman of mine who lives in Toronto, who has made quite an impact. He's a clinical psychologist, and that in itself gives me the EBGBs. The term of clinical psychologist, that you would achieve a high standing. I think he was educated even as in a place like Harvard. So he's no slouch when it comes to being able to regurgitate all the right things and write all the proper dissertations and then be rubber stamped by an institution that has fundamentally been recognized as the top dog. There are different kind of institutions that are always the top dog. If you look at religion, I think the Vatican is an institution that could be considered a top dog. There are other suspects for me on this, but anyway, I digress a little bit. But I'm just drawing attention. This is a return. This is a return presentation, and I'm just looking at the optics, the image. So when I know I captured this moment, I just sort of stopped it at this point, and it ended looking like this. I didn't look for this. And I'm sure this is throughout the entire video that he's made, and giving explanations and telling us how difficult it has been. And you can tell me, you can leave a comment, you can say what this image presents to you. What is it that I'm being communicated? What is communicated to me? What kind of, is it kind and gentle, or is it harsh and severe? I mean, this is what I've been saying, what I've perceived, even with the things that he says that I might agree with, especially his whole, don't tell me, you can tell me what not to say, but to some extent, but you can't tell me, even worse, you cannot tell me what to say. He's referring to the pronouns of the transgender people and all this. And I totally agree with him that this is outrageous to be told what words to use and what words, well, what words not to use is another issue. It's like there's a subtlety there that I understand he's addressing. But the entire, what my reservation, what has really made me feel what I refer to, he gives me the EBGBs. I look at this and he gives me the EBGBs. And that is not, I am not saying that I wish this person ill in any way. It's not that kind of a thing. But he has imposed himself on my psyche, and 3 million subscribed other psyches. You know, obviously people think he's got something to contribute. And in my version of contribution, it's showing me how not to be. I've in my last video, I even brought up the another Canadian that I really respect, admire, is Gabor Mate, who truly gives of himself in his presentations, contrary to this person, who is externalizing reality. Gabor Mate has internalized something. This man has externalized something, and the experience he says he's gone through has been, well, he says humbling in regard to. He made a comment that I thought was very rather, well, an admission, I would say, he made that the amount of dedication of the people around him, many of the people around him who helped him to recover, he would not have it within him to do the same. So I suppose that's in a way, that's a very honest admission, but at the same time, it reflects on the character he has. And he didn't say now that he's gone through this, he would definitely help the way he was helped. He just says that he wouldn't have been able to do this. So I don't know what this means. And there are so many aspects. Again, I rely on the optics, the way I perceive this with the black little collar and the type of suit and tie and the darkness, the light on his face and the dark behind him. It's kind of I'm not going to say what the extreme version of the optics here. You can make it up yourself. You can tell me. And even if you admire this person, just reflect on the optics here. What is being communicated? And he admitted to having been an addict, and during the time he was making some of his most impressive and important presentations, he was under the influence. And I felt this. I just felt this. This was coming through all the time, that there was a hidden, as Gabo Mate says, a hungry ghost expressing itself, coming out of this person. And in Gabo Mate's opinion, it is an unresolved rage, and I still see this. If anything, if this is not untoward beyond the person himself, I would say this definitely applies in the optics. So I thought I'd just put this out because, quite frankly, I don't get very much benefit from this person, especially when I see in terms of the popularity that he has, and he is relying on to continue his message. You see, he's being, in a sense, that he's promoted. I know that he's promoted on some level. There are a lot of people that are invested in this person having a platform. No matter what he says, how afflicted he has been and how maligned he's been, all of it, he's promoted. You don't get to this spot without having a lot of, a profound network of influence behind you in order to push some message. And obviously a great way to get people interested in to have a negative side to things where people are attacking him and saying that you're full of it and you're just this and that. But this is part of the operation. It's like the neuro programming that he's so familiar with. He's educated in the what is that, NPL or whatever it's called, neuro-linguistic programming. So what I'm saying is heads up. It's obviously you see I'm not on board with this kind of worldview and presentation and the world that we live in right now. And he says we're in a crisis. I asked, do you think this is a pandemic? Mr. Peterson, tell us your opinion on what it is the crisis we're facing. Are you referring to, he says in this in this comeback video that we're in a difficult position, in a crisis. Is he referring to this fabricated pandemic? Is he on board with that? That, of course, would put another nail into the coffin for me. But it's a beware. This is like obviously I am supposed to go away on whatever I say about this person. And I've actually said there are things that he says that have relevance and significance and importance to me. But the overall, that feeling that I get from this person is represented in this image, in the optics, all the way through. This has always impressed me. Something that is underneath that comes through to me that says, viewer beware. Humans beware. So anyway, I don't wish ill on this person. If it's true that he was in a terrible state, it certainly has not left. My conclusion is, whatever he went through, he's right back at her. He's right back at her, more dedicated and convinced and determined. You look at this face. This is not just somebody who's been smitten and succumbed to adversity. This guy has reveled on some level in the adversity he's faced, and he's doubled down. That's my sense of it. And viewer beware. That's and I feel I need to present an opposition. It's like where is it? It's like every day we listen to the mainstream stuff. Like this is mainstream now. This guy is mainstream totally with this kind of viewership. He has more viewership than CNBC and MNS and all the traditional networks. He's got more viewers than that. This guy is mainstream, people. It's not like some sort of uh, uh, oppressed minority. This guy is the majority. He is the one that has impressed people to such an extent that I would call him mainstream. This is his obligation now to be referred to as a mainstream character, not a fringe character. I'm not sure. I know that there are going to be people that say, well, you shouldn't criticize somebody that's had such a difficult time in life and all of this. Okay, but don't put your face in front of me then. Just resolve your life and whatever that is. It's like this is not part of a discussion to say, oh, you got to feel sorry for this guy. Yes, up to a point, up to a point. And as soon as you're back in my face, you're fair. You're fair game for me to have an opinion. I was criticized for having an opinion on my Gabor Mate and Peterson analysis, or not analysis, but the way I saw the two people. And somebody said, hey, you shouldn't character assassinate this person. Bloody right I can question what I'm being presented with. I have the right to say what this guy represents to me, what it is that I'm being given. And as a visual person, I get kind of locked in. It's like you had me at eyeball, it's like your eyeballs. I don't need to hear a 1 hour presentation. You've had me right off the get. What am I witnessing here? So anyway, I guess it's a heads up. It's a heads up. It's a heads up to people that pay attention to this fellow, and like myself, have reservations, profound reservations about the veracity of what is really going on. The world is not what it appears, but this is exactly what it appears to be.